Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hey, how's it
Hi,
going?
guys.
So good. Oh, I love these little portholes. They're
Hey,
so
how's it
cute.
Hi,
going?
I really feel like I'm on a
guys.
cruise ship right now.
You
So
are
good.
on a cruise ship.
Oh, I love these little portholes. They're so
How's it
cute.
going,
I really feel like I'm.
guys?
So, Steven, you've
Yes.
never been on a cruise ship, right?
I have never been on a cruise ship. Not in
Do
my
you have any
life.
do you have any desire to go on a cruise ship?
The idea of going on a cruise ship absolutely terrifies me because you're
Mm-hmm.
basically just in a giant place that is a way to make as much disease and gross stuff as possible. Maybe it's because I watched Poop Cruise on Netflix.
Mm.
I just decided that, hey, maybe cruise ships aren't for me. But if any one of them will do it, it will definitely be the Disney cruises.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoy a cruise. I go on them. I've been on them. And I think that the worst thing to me about cruises is that I feel morally conflicted about them because of the environmental impact of cruises and also the questionable labor practices of cruises. But apart from those sinking impacts on my conscience, that isn't even the topic of today's episode
You and
because
your ethics.
today's episode isn't about the ethics of the Disney cruises, but rather about just how many Disney cruises there are and the relentless force of marketing around these cruises, causing perhaps some consumer fatigue.
I think Kat and I have basically decided that journalism is no longer a worthwhile industry. So we have become Disney cruise ship people. But first, we kind of have to explain what it is.
Yeah.
We're setting sail on
Well,
today's beautiful cruise ship. And
yes.
I can do this and do that to make sure that please ignore the man behind the mirror fixing things live.
It looks gorgeous.
Still a little off.
You're doing a good job.
Okay, I think we should begin.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Well, sort of the titular slide here about cruise fatigue. I have the last four, or rather the last three, and then the one upcoming Disney cruise ship. We have the Disney Adventure, which is the upcoming cruise ship, the Disney Destiny, which just did its maiden sailing 5 days ago. We have the Disney Treasure, and then we have the Disney Wish, which is the cruise ship that kicked off the latest sort of lineage of Disney cruise ships.
Those are all
Um,
different cruise ships
yeah,
because every time I open my TikTok FYP, there's a new cruise ship that just seems to pop up on my page. And it looks exactly like the other ones,
yeah.
except the lounges are slightly different themes.
Well, that's the thing. And something that really struck me when I was pulling all of the official company art for these cruise ships, it's like it's basically just the same cruise ship repeated over and over and over again, which isn't wholly unusual. Like Disney as a company has always released cruise ships in pairs where like each of the pair is relatively comparable to the other one with like a few thematic twists. But what's different about what Disney is doing now is that we've already outpaced the release of Disney cruise ships throughout the line's entire existence. But also, Disney recently announced that they are going to be building a ton more cruise ships in the coming years. So, like, the endless pace of rollouts and announcements around these cruise ships is not going to stop anytime soon.
That's what we need. We need more cruise ships. That'll fix Disney's problems. It's not the lack of imagination or clever branding or the fact we're all drowning in IP. It's more
Yeah.
boats.
Yeah. I mean, as we're going to get into throughout this presentation, like these are just floating money makers and they are so good at making money. And as someone who's been on a Disney cruise and would like to maybe go on another Disney cruise in the future, I totally understand the appeal. And it's this weird sort of like mindset of like, I know that I'm paying more and getting less, but there still is this like nagging draw. And I feel like part of that draw can be really easily explained through these images from this Alaskan cruise. And what we have here is we have Minnie and Mickey in their Alaskan cruise outfits. I'm not sure which ship this is, although I think it's one of the original Disney cruise ships that goes up to Alaska. And I just love this image, and I had to put this right up front because it's like we're about to like rag on these ships for the next hour. However, there is something to be said. I'm not even the type of person who likes the Mickey and Minnie costumes. Like the characters wearing costumes and in general is not like my biggest draw, but I do love this outfit that Minnie wears when she's in Alaska. And it's like, okay, I'm starting to understand like the visual aesthetic, the visual appeal, where if you're a really big Disney fan, this is something that you would potentially be interested in.
Yeah, I am way more obsessed with the costumes than you. I have tracked Mickey's costumes over the years. When he shows up as Kingdom Hearts Mickey on specific Halloween events, that's my heaven. And I've never seen these before. I don't know if they've ever brought them to the parks. I don't know if we've seen Fisherman Mickey and his wife before.
No, we haven't.
We just keep them on the ships.
This is a Disney cruise line, and specifically a Disney Alaska cruise exclusive, because this is the only time that they ever wear these outfits. And I love her look so much. And I honestly kind of want to remake this outfit and wear it for myself. And I do think that the Mickey fisherman outfit
wearing?
is really cute. Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
I love that one.
Gotcha.
I love that one. I like one time, let's say about like a decade ago, I think at this point, I've been on a cruise with my parents to Alaska, and it wasn't a Disney cruise, but we did have to wear these yellow outfits when we went on an excursion. So that I'm less interested in remaking because unfortunately I've already had to wear that before.
You don't want to remind yourself of childhood of like wading waist deep in like freezing cold water? I don't understand.
No, not at all. Not at all. And it is kind of chic, but it's also the downside of an Alaska cruise is that it's really cold. Compared to usually cruises are sailing to tropical locations. But the upside of it is that it is really fun and interesting, and you're seeing something different. But these cruises tend to be a little bit on the longer and more expensive side. And as far as I'm aware, none of the current fleet of Disney ships is doing this. So moving on along to the latest Disney cruise ship to be released.
This is
the Disney Destiny.
Okay, I was literally about to say Wish. No. Treasure. No.
Nope.
Destiny.
Destiny. Exactly. So Steven, what have your social media feeds looked like around the maiden voyage of this cruise ship?
I've gotten 2 of these videos already. I have been seeing I've been getting a lot of reviews of the buffet.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them have focused on the lounges.
Yeah.
And the elevators. Because I believe those are the only 3 things that are really different between the cruise ships. And I think even the influencers kind of know.
Yeah.
They're the only ones kind of showing they don't want to show the same stuff over and over and over.
No, that makes a lot of sense to me. And I selected 3 Instagram reels that I think are pretty representative, like mix of the genres of content that come out of these maiden voyages, and also like Disney influencer events in general. So a little background for those who do not follow the Disney influencer scene. Basically, every time Disney unveils like a new theme park ride or even like a new theme park restaurant or even a new piece of merchandise, but also when they unveil like a brand new cruise ship or a brand new theme park, they invite influencers. And increasingly over the years, they've invited more influencers than they've invited like traditional media, I would say, at least based on the social media content.
Based on the posts we're getting.
Yeah. They invite like dozens and dozens of Disney influencers to come experience these things and document them and make content about them before anyone in the public outside of this ecosystem gets to do it. And I want to talk more about like what that sort of produces as a result of like having the influencers come on their own separate like preview tours. But yeah, I picked these 3 reels and I want to go through and sort of react to each one of these, with the first one being, and Stephen, when I click this, it's not going to show because I only have my one screen shared, I think.
Yeah.
So should you click it?
I can't click it.
Okay, I'll click it, and
You
then I
click
have
it.
to and then just switch what I'm
Yeah,
sharing.
you got to get out of the slideshow.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
We'll go back in after. So you just want to click all 3 right now.
Okay, I'll
Here,
do that.
I'll pull you off so that people won't have to look at your beautiful home screen and all the nonsense. We're back in the ports now.
Okay, love.
Yes, I will.
Is it gonna have sound?
It should.
Probably.
It should.
Okay.
I just want to keep playing the boat sound as much as possible.
Okay, so I think I'm doing this right. So I'm starting with this one.
So the stream
share
ended on
this.
Discord. You have to restart the stream now.
Oh.
We realize this is not the way to do it when it comes to sharing screens.
Okay. Hang on, I'm figuring it out.
Yes.
Okay, this one.
There we go.
Okay.
All right, I'm going back.
Yay! Okay, I'm gonna unmute it and then start it over.
Okay, it is super laggy.
Is it?
It's super laggy on stream. Here.
Oh, well, it's actually that. It might just be because the video is so slow.
Oh, this is actually what it looks like?
No, I think this is actually what it looks like. Okay,
Oh.
let me unmute it and then start it over. It sounds like so cacophonous, so I'm so sorry. Okay, here we go.
Okay. Back again.
Okay, so it's going incredibly slowly.
Yeah. I think is your computer like having a crap fit?
No, it's not. This is actually like the speed at which it's going in the actual video, I think.
Oh wow.
Because it's showing completely normally on my screen.
How weird.
But yeah, it's an incredibly slow transition into this water slide. Steven, can you hear the music?
I can hear the music, yeah. It all works. It's just like really buffering and slow.
Okay, well, let me pause it because I think that this gives you a little bit of a gist. And with this video, it's not imperative that you watch the entire thing because it is just like 3 minutes
It's
of this.
like Mickey Mouse showing up in a bunch of different movies.
Yes. And so what we just watched is a clip, like a POV of somebody riding what Disney is calling like the first theme park ride at sea. And this is a water slide called the Aqua Mouse. So the Aqua Mouse it's just a normal water slide. The only addition that makes it a quote unquote ride is being on this conveyor belt at the beginning, where as you are like being tubed up to the top, which is a normal feature of like normal water slides, they have these screens on the side of the water slide that are playing like Mickey's Runaway Railway style clips of Mickey and Minnie.
I love that you say it's
IP.
Mickey's Runaway Railway style clips. Did you know that was based off of a television show?
I did know that.
Okay.
I've never seen the show.
No one has. Which is why like it makes no sense to me that Disney's like Mickey Mouse's entire branding is now like tied to this show that nobody over the age of 12 has watched.
Which is like, it kind of makes a little bit of sense in the sense that like young kids will have this identity with Mickey Mouse. And previously, I think our generation, we have Mickey Mouse as an icon, but we didn't, at least I didn't. Steven, you probably did. But
I'm an old man.
Well, that plus you just naturally love this type of stuff. But for me as a kid, I was not watching the original Mickey Mouse cartoons. So I had no like identity with him. I only knew Mickey as like the iconography, the t-shirts, like the ears, the symbolism. I didn't connect with him or relate to him as a character. Whereas I think Disney wanted to solve that problem by introducing the current younger generation through the Disney Plus series to this like cartoon version of Mickey.
Yeah, I would go on a rant for a second about Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Uh, no, House of Mouse. Sorry, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse is the baby one. House of Mouse was a bunch of animated vignettes of Mickey Mouse, like hanging out with all of the Disney characters. He's like sets up Hades on a date with Maleficent, and goes out and all the characters you've never seen. Just peer and hanging out, and then they put like Mickey Mouse cartoons in the middle. So I've seen like the old ones from the 50s and the 40s, just from like House of Mouse. But I am an old boomer who has seen all of these things. And this Mickey Mouse is just why does this tunnel exist?
So it's literally just to justify calling it a ride. Like they threw some light up screens into the water slide. And during some of these scenes, as you can see, like you can kind of tell in this video, it's like spraying water at you at certain points that like vaguely correspond with what's happening on the screen. But that's kind of it. And we're watching this on mute now, but the song that they play when you're in this excruciatingly long, excruciatingly slow crawl up through this tunnel is so annoying. And then like once you get to the top, which we'll see in a second, it just turns into basically like a normal water slide from there on out.
Whoa, look at it buffer so low. Let's see if another video is this bad.
I wonder if this is because it's Instagram Reels.
Oh.
Because TikTok didn't do this to us.
No, TikTok did not do this to us at all.
I wonder if I should try to find the video on TikTok.
Find the next one on TikTok.
Let's see, because the Shay Spence has a TikTok account. So let's see if I can find this.
Here, I'll swap back.
Yippee.
I'm just doing DJing in real time.
Except, I'm not seeing, I don't think he uses TikTok.
How could I saw it. It must have been.
All right, let's take a tour.
Wait.
I think they're all kind of looking like this because you're sharing screen on Discord.
Rooms on the new Disney.
Oh,
I think we might want to do the VDO thing.
Okay.
If you want to try sharing screen on that, and then I just have to. More technical difficulties, but
that's okay.
We find them out now.
We're learning.
We're learning.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing that tab.
Stop watching, and we exit out of that. And none of this is showing up on the stream, by the way.
Okay.
It's all just the portholes, which I love.
Okay, well,
dearly.
let me see if I can bring up one of my videos on Instagram through this thing instead.
I think if you try sharing your screen on video, I can just kind of shove it. Okay, you are doing that. Let me copy solo view link. All right, you guys are gonna see how the magic gets made. Congratulations. I do not know how to not do it. All right.
Oh my gosh, Adam McIntyre said, "I love you guys so fucking much."
Can he say that once I figure out how this shit works? Aha! Got it. It's not lagging.
It's not lagging. Oh my god,
not.
yay!
I figured it out. Oh my god, beautiful. Alright, I may have to rejigger it a bit, but we are...
back.
We are back.
Okay, so I am so excited for us to watch this vlog. This is a travel influencer I found who has like, I think somewhere in the realm of like 20 to 25,000 followers. So this is not a big account. And I feel like she imbues a lot of personality and family lore into her media preview vlog. So I'm very excited for us to learn about her. So now I'm going to restart it with audio.
Oh no. I think I lost all of you. Oh yeah. Okay. Now you're back. But you're muted.
Okay, wait.
Okay, now you're back. And the
I'm
screen
back.
is showing.
Wait. Okay. All right. Okay, let's start this over. Okay, wait, this is the wrong one. Hang on. It's this one. Yeah, okay,
Gotcha.
this one. And then
Hi, I'm Summer, and
there
I
we
just
go.
got off of a 3-night media preview cruise of the Disney Destiny, and it's safe to say that I'm obsessed. I have been on 11 Disney cruises, all 7 of the current ships, and this one's different. So this reel is addressed to my husband, who has not sailed since 2019 with Disney, only one time on one ship for a 3-night cruise when the kids were really small. But now the kids are big, no naps, no drama, so it's a totally different experience all by itself. But let's talk about this ship. All right, first off, Marvel. There's so much Marvel on this ship. Not only is there Marvel, it's villains. The villains have really taken over. It's not just Mickey and Minnie. It's Cruella, it's Maleficent, it's Dr. Facilier. It's fantastic. And you
Wow.
don't just watch them. You
Wow.
get to interact with them. You're kind of in the show, which is a whole lot of fun. Also fun, you may not know this, but Disney is full of adult spaces. This here is an infinity pool. It is just 18 and up. There are no kids, no cannonballs. This is the hallway leading into 3 adult spaces, a bar and 2 restaurants. The bar here is called the Rose. It is one of the most elegant spaces with amazing views. Then there's the 2 adult-only restaurants. First is Enchanté. It's pretty fancy. You're going to have to wear something nice. But then there's Palo, which doesn't have to be quite as nice. And this brunch is only $55.
Only
We have it free, though, 'cause I've
$55
cruised
for a
10 times on
brunch.
Platinum. Get
No,
the
that's
chicken
what-
parm.
that's
It's
literally what I
outstanding. And again,
said.
there's
It's
no
so
kids. It's just
crazy.
delicious food. If you're up early, you'll also
Wait, $55 in addition to the thousands of dollars that you are paying just to be on this cruise. I feel like we've seen enough. Like she goes into like a few more of the features, but so one thing that really struck me about this video is first of all, it makes me want to go on the cruise. Like I think that this is a really solid piece of marketing for Disney, but then I remember the flip side of this, which is something that Jenny Nicholson has talked about at length, which is that when you have influencers in media previews, they are not experiencing what you would experience as an average person riding this cruise ship. And we will get into this with the reviews of these cruise ships, not the Destiny, because it's so new that like I don't even know who's been able to take a sailing yet. Like I don't even think those people would have landed yet. But on like the Disney Wish and the Disney Treasure, people who just take these cruises and pay out of pocket are not getting the level of detail, nor are they getting the like weighted on hand and foot experience that these influencers are. So like these influencers are able to show you what these themed bars, which are really cool, like the Cafe Megara from Hercules, that is something that is kind of like a deep cut that I feel like only big Disney fans would really care about. But of course, they're going to love something themed after this character. But if you actually go during a regular sailing, it's going to be packed, like no room at all to either see the theming in this way or to experience it the same way. So that's one of the things that strikes me about all of these influencer videos is that they're loving these environments because no one else is there. They don't have to wait in line for anything. Everything that they're getting is like included as part of their preview package. And when she says like you really get to interact with the characters, I'm like, as a normal guest paying thousands of dollars out of pocket, these characters are not going to be treating you the same way that they're treating these influencers who are literally filming them.
Yeah, I better be getting the full experience. Those lightning bolts are very cool. And I love Hercules. It's my favorite movie, which is why this, cruise ship is probably the most appealing to me with the Hercules show. But the influencerification, you'd feel like Disney would learn considering what happened with the Galactic Star Cruiser.
Yes.
Where it was this like big promise that, you're going to get to interact and look how much fun the influencers are having. And then when regular people start showing up, they're like, hey, this is kind of boring and it doesn't look like anything is kind of matching together. And then it kind of culminates with the Jenny Nicholson video, which like proves all of the same points. Is that you're getting an influencer style version of whatever, you think you're getting. It's not going to be what you want.
Exactly. And it's like, it's messed up because I think Disney has time and time again proven that the advertising model it embraces now is they are showing you an experience that you want to pay for so badly. And Disney knows that when you get there, you're not actually going to have that experience and that you're going to walk away like disappointed to some degree. But they don't care, because I think what they care about the most is just getting you to swipe your credit card.
Yeah.
And then like be gone with you. Like, we'll move on to the next people.
The goal is to make as much money as possible. Disney will only invest in things that will make them money. That's why all of these themed experiences are bars. Because they can get people to pay for bars. You're not going to see... Maybe it's because, again, I watched the 4-hour-long Defunctland video, so it's still in my brain. But one of the point Kevin Perjurer goes into is that the reason we don't see walking animatronics anymore, or these like fanciful things at the parks, is because they don't make direct money. Yeah. You know, like Lucky the Dinosaur walking around doesn't make money. But this, you know, we'll put people in the seats and have them watch Hercules. Look how cool Hercules is. Remember those songs?
And it's like a few things that I can say to like in favor of the cruises is like, so what she's showing on screen now are like the buffets and where you can get food poolside and like the Hercules show and the themed dining experiences. And these are all things that are included in the base price that you pay for the ship. You get to go to a themed restaurant every night. The themed restaurants on Disney cruise ships, since the time that Disney cruise ships like hit the market, have always been something that other cruise lines do not offer, that you can only get on Disney cruises. And so that is what, to a lot of people, makes it worth it to pay more money for a Disney cruise than you would pay for a different cruise. But a lot of the biggest selling points, to your point, Stephen, for the cruises are like the Doctor Strange bar, the Haunted Mansion bar, the Pirates of the Caribbean bar, like themed bars, themed restaurants that are not included in the base package, and like stuff that ultimately you're going to be paying for in addition to this being a more expensive cruise. And I would have to fact check this because I'm not sure what the situation currently is in terms of beverage plans on board these cruise ships. But like the most recent cruise that I went on a cruise this summer for one of my friend's bachelor parties. And it's a cruise where part of the appeal is you can pay like a base price for alcohol, and then you can get unlimited alcohol the entire duration of the cruise. And like that's what a lot of people cruise for. That's where the name Booze Cruise came from. Disney cruise ships are not booze cruises. They are literally like the most expensive cruises that there are, before you get into like the ultra exclusive, ultra luxury cruise liners. When it comes to like the mid-tier cruises, Disney is on the upper end of what's expensive, and they don't necessarily include those like base drinks packages. Like they want you paying out of pocket for $18 cocktails over and over and over again, in addition to like paying to be there. So it kind of deflects from what the point of a cruise traditionally has been. And I've also seen like some interesting complaints about like with the themed dining, with like the Lion King show that they're showing in this video. If you're not in a good seat and you obviously don't get to pick where you're sitting, your view might be obstructed. Again, like it's basically like
it's the Star Cruiser.
It's the Jenny Nicholson video, but like on steroids. And I feel like one of the takeaways here is that the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel failed because it wasn't a cruise ship. And so now they're just building like 7 more cruise ships.
That's like Bob Iger Big Brain. Like, oh, Star Cruiser wasn't moving. If we make it moving, people will do same thing and make more money.
100%. And I honestly think that like another thing about cruises is like, yes, that is one of the selling points, is that you're on a moving boat. And if you pay out the nose to get a room with a balcony, you can sit there and watch the ocean go by. And it's a very beautiful experience unless you get seasick. But like Disney has offered that experience, as we're going to get into. They've offered this experience for decades, but now you're paying so much more for so much less. So we'll get into that. But the last thing that I wanted to showcase, so I'm going to stop sharing for a second so that I can fix this. The last thing that I wanted to showcase is this like food vlog from a creator named Shay Spence. And I like watch so much of his content. He makes videos like this all the time. And I think this is a really like good example of this for people who aren't familiar again with like the various genres of Disney influencer content. This has become a hallmark of Disney content. Ooh, is like the
Ooh.
food video. Sorry, I dropped my phone.
You tell me when it is
Okay,
showing.
hang on. Okay, I think it's ready. I
Okay.
think it's ready.
Yes. Okay. Good.
Okay. All right, let me restart this.
I'm ranking all the adults-only cocktail lounges on board the new Disney Destiny cruise ship, taking into account mostly ambiance and vibes, but also cocktails as well. So let's get started with number 5. This is Cask and Cannon, the new Pirates of the Caribbean themed bar. Now I will start with the good. They have a very extensive rum collection, as to be expected. The Dead Man's Chest comes with 2 very strong cocktails for $25, plus chocolate treasure at the bottom. The wings here are so freaking good. My problem is ultimately with the ambiance. They did a really nice job with theming and then ruined it with TVs everywhere. I really
my
think there should just be a
God.
separate sports bar on board.
so
TVs are
bad.
just kind of an eyesore for me. Okay.
Yes.
Oh my God. Why would you spend all that money on all that theming and then you just throw a fucking football game in it?
It is so absurd. It's like it's such a just like funny reveal when he's like, love this Pirates of the Caribbean themed bar that's full of TV screens. It's
Right.
so ridiculous.
That's what Jack Sparrow loved.
Exactly. He loved watching TV.
He loved it.
But yeah, that's the most ridiculous one. Then we get
Number
into more
4 is
topics.
the Sanctum, which is Doctor Strange themed. It has been hyped as having the most like theatrical creative cocktails. Some of them levitate, some of them are
It's not hard to
overflowing
do.
with bubbles and all kinds of dramatic stuff. I think this has potential if they refine the cocktails a bit. It's a great space, but the least exciting theming wise. Number 3 is the Rose. They have this on all the new Triton class Disney ships. It is of course Beauty and the Beast theme. This is really one of my favorite spots to just hang out on board. It's beautiful. It is the least crowded. It feels classy, calm, and peaceful
least
with
crowded,
these nice floor-to-ceiling
because
ocean
right
views,
now-
fun cocktails,
Right,
and they do have a nice
right,
espresso martini.
exactly.
I love this spot. Number 2 is going to be DeVille's. Obviously, this is a Cruella-themed piano bar. She does make appearances a few times per sailing, and my favorite cocktail here was I Live for Furs, which has gin, lemon, raspberry, and vanilla. A perfect concoction that's not too sweet. If you want the most dazzling cocktail, though, I would go for the $30 Perfectly Wretched, which comes with
$30.
Cruella's full makeup kit. My only issue with this whole space is that it's very small, so it's harder to get a seat, but the theming and cocktails are perfect. However,
If it's hard to get a seat during the media preview, it would be impossible to get a seat during like an average sailing. So then what? So then you're paying $30 for a tray with a cocktail on it. And it's so cool. Like I love what they just showed, the Cruella de Vil bar.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. 10 out of 10 across the board. But like there is no world in which any of us actually get to experience this. They're selling us like a lie, basically.
Well,
and
that's
this
the
is
whole
before we get
promise is that like you get to hang out with Cruella de Vil, and I think that's the one that has like the secret villain, event that you can only get, and you can't pick your phone in and take videos because we don't
Yes.
want people
Oh.
knowing about it.
That makes so much sense. But yeah, so now we're getting into the Haunted Mansion parlor, and thematically, I have my Haunted Mansion coffee cup that I got, which is so much more affordable and accessible than this experience that we're about to see.
We got
number 1 will have to be the Haunted Mansion parlor. You can also find this on the Disney Treasure Ship. And it is, I think, the best bar Disney has ever created in terms of theming and immersion. I do still think the cocktails can use some work here. They're all pretty sweet, but you can also order off the menu, and the bartenders are fantastic at making whatever you want. And that's all. Okay, bye.
So yeah.
And from a comment, 4 more ships is depressing. I'm begging anyone ever to consistently and loudly talk about how cruises overall just completely destroy the environment. It's insane. What? You don't think that getting to see Cruella de Vil and the Hercules Titans is worth living in a dystopian future in about 10 years?
No, it absolutely is terrible for the environment. Like cruises are such a stain and nobody wants to talk about it. And like, I'm sure that they are preventing Disney from ever reaching any sort of like green pledge because they are so bad from a climate perspective and a labor perspective. And it's frustrating that like they're putting these bars, and especially like the Haunted Mansion bar or the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, like these are incredibly exclusive bars that Disney knows diehard fans are going to want to go to. And that is why they are putting them on these cruise ships, because it's the ultimate like tier to unlock, is that you have to shell out such an enormous upfront cost just to get access to these bars. And it does, in theory, like the upside of that would be that only a few people, like the upside of that would theoretically be that it wouldn't be as crowded as a physical location on land. But the reality is these bars on the ships, they're not taking up enough space to like fit all the people who's going to want to go.
Yeah.
So either you better line up for your 9 a.m. Haunted Mansion bar experience, or you're not going to be able to sit down. So that aspect of it, I think, sucks.
Well, isn't that
and
how
just
they
makes
handle
it
the restaurants? Is that
Mhm.
like you have a very specific time you can go to, but bars are like antithetical to that idea. They're supposed to be a place you can just go whenever you want, whenever you have time. And again, as you mentioned before, booze cruises, it's all free, so you can
Yep.
enjoy what you can. But here, they're all like 20 and up, just for like a mid-tier cocktail themed in a room that doesn't have anything important in it, other than like, can you spot the hidden Mickeys and the secrets?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so bleak that like rather than have this be something that you could go to in Florida or California, it's like how dark that in the Haunted Mansion parlor they have like theming that's like dead fish.
Yeah.
When they're driving around this massive like destroyer of worlds that is polluting all of these marine ecosystems, like that aspect of it is very bleak and very ironic.
I think I
must
watched
say.
an Imagineering TikTok talking about how much they were so proud of this bar and the dead fish and all the somewhat subtle references they're making to like the Haunted Mansion in general. And they fucking dragged the son of like one of the sculptors of the Haunted Mansion to be like, "Oh my god, isn't this fun? Are you having fun?"
Yeah.
Dear God.
Very, very, very bleak.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are some of the marketing, basically native marketing that has been produced around the Disney Destiny. And I spelled out like sort of the view counts that people are getting for this content. The Aqua Mouse, like the least impressive video that we saw, has 1 million views. So like ride POV videos, as we both know, are very popular, very consistently able to monetize type of content. And then like same thing with the vlogs and the food walkthroughs. So like the way that Disney is operating these cruise ship debuts, it works really well for the creator ecosystem that they've cultivated. So there's like a mutual beneficial thing happening here. And so moving on to what the history of this cruise line has looked like and why there's like such a diversion happening now, I found this chart on my favorite source, Wikipedia.
I'm going to move my head over so we can see all the names.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I think this is a really interesting chart for a number of reasons. As a chart nerd,
Chart nerd?
I sorted this. I sorted this in chronological order from the very first ship that Disney debuted to now. So we had the original Disney cruise ship, the Disney Magic, as well as the Disney Wonder. These came out, they entered service rather in 1998 and 1999. And these had the smallest capacity out of all of the Disney cruise ships. These had 875 rooms. All of the cruise ships from there on out had well over 1,000 rooms. And also, interestingly, each of the different Disney cruise ships has different characters on the bow of the ship, the atrium, and on the stern. And then something I didn't know that I thought was so funny, which is currently underneath our heads, but each of these cruise ships has a sponsor. And the Disney Magic and the Disney Wonder were sponsored by one of the Disney heirs, Patricia Disney and Tinkerbell. But then when we move into the later ships, the sponsors turned into celebrities. So the Disney Dream and the Disney Fantasy came out back to back in 2011 and 2012. And these pairings of ships, like, I don't think that the ships are exactly identical, but they are really similar. Like, they fit the exact same number of people. They're probably similarly formatted to the ships that we're talking about now. But the Disney Dream and the Disney Fantasy were sponsored by Jennifer Hudson and Mariah Carey. I had no idea about that. If Adam is still watching, Adam, I love that piece of information. But so those ships came out. So at this point, we've got a decade in between the cruise ship launches. Now we move into the modern class of Disney ships.
Ooh.
And on Wikipedia, this is called the Wish class. I also heard one of the travel
Triton.
influencers. Yeah, the Triton class. So
It's all made up. It's all imaginary. None of it means anything.
Fake numbers.
All
fake
Make-A-Wish children are sponsored by Disney Wish.
Isn't that crazy?
All Make-A-Wish children. Not some of them. You get to see Mr. Beast, and you get your own cruise ship. Like,
The Disney Wish is sponsored by every Make-A-Wish child to ever exist. That is so crazy. And something interesting about the Disney Wish, which officially debuted in 2022, which is around when the Disney Cruise social media space obviously like emerged and took off and has hit the ground running ever since. But this cruise ship was originally supposed to debut, I believe, in 2020, or like they were in the building stages in 2020, but then it obviously got delayed because of the COVID-19 pandemic that Disney officially acknowledged for
first
about
of all, we
4
call that
months.
Disney Magic because we want to get monetization on this channel.
True. The so-and-so.
So-and-so. The random
Disney-
thing.
That thing that happened back in 2020 that Disney acknowledged for, I think, officially. They reopened in July, so they acknowledged it for March, April, May, and June. 4 months. 4 months. And then it was back to business.
Of course.
But anyways, so we had Disney Wish debut in 2022. Then we had the Disney Treasure in 2024, followed by the Disney Destiny in 2025. And the fatigue for, I think, a lot of Disney content viewers like ourselves has already started to set in around these like kind of endless cruise ships, but we have so many more to go. We have the Disney Adventure is going to be the next cruise ship, and it is much bigger.
It's a
than
different class
all.
entirely. It's global.
Yeah, and so the reason why it's the global class is because Disney bought this ship on the cheap. What happened was the company that was building the ship that became the Disney Adventure, that company went bankrupt. And in sort of like the selling of the assets, Disney was able to get this, like, I believe it was a $1.8 billion cruise ship. And I think Disney scooped it up for something in the range of like $80 million.
Wow.
So amazing deal. And it's going to be based in Singapore. And that cruise ship is going to go into service in March 2026. So we have a little ways, or actually, no, that's like in a few months.
No, that's coming up, man.
Yeah.
Disney Adventure. We're going to get another round of TikTokers making
Yes.
videos about this shit.
Yes, and I bet if it does end up sailing out of Singapore, they're going to fly a bunch of these influencers to Singapore, which will be fun. But yeah, Disney Adventure is coming up. It's right hot on the heels of Disney Destiny. And then, like, we're not even letting up after the adventure. We're going straight to the Disney cruise ships that are going to be coming out of Disney Tokyo. So the Oriental Land Company has bought a cruise ship that they're going to do as their own Disney cruise ship that sails around Japan. And they're currently talking about potentially buying another one. And then after that, Josh D'Amaro recently announced we're getting new Disney cruise ships in 2029, in 2030, and 2031. So we have no less than 6 Disney cruise ships on the horizon for the next 6 years.
Jesus. How do we need that much? Why do we need that much?
We do not need
I
that
don't
many.
understand.
we do not mean that many cruise ships. It's so ridiculous. It's so bizarre to think that if we go back to the previous slate of ships, like we were operating at 2 ships per decade up until 2022 when they decided to more than double the entire size of the fleet over the following decade. So clearly Disney has budgeted just like an enormous amount of revenue from these cruise ships. And I think that we've kind of explored why that is. But also, like, lest the reels suffice, there's so much YouTube content about these ships that performs really, really, really well. These videos of people doing hour-long, like, if not longer, walkthroughs of the cruise ships, showing you all the restaurants, showing you the food, vlogging the embarkation day, showing you what characters are on the ship, all of this stuff. It routinely nets these creators like 100,000 views per video. So that is a really sustainable way to make consistent content, especially if you know that there's going to be a new cruise ship every single year. So Disney has created this really like sustainable monetization for these people. And like the couple on the right, they've made multiple videos that are getting like tens of thousands of views from their embarkation day on the ship. So it's like, it's a good way to churn out content. And Disney itself is even getting in on the action, because you can see 2 weeks ago, the official Disney Parks YouTube channel uploaded a Disney Destiny first look in the exact style of what these other creators have perfected.
I have noticed that Disney's YouTube in general has become so much more YouTubeified.
Yeah.
I have like one of their latest thumbnails at the end of this, because it's all just so it's like access journalism used to be a problem. Like, as a journalist, we do not trade favors for coverage. At least that's not what it's supposed to be. Yeah. And for years, you would get some form of real response to what these things are. But these people are employed by Disney, even if they're not actually employed by Disney. Like, yeah. Disney's access to these sort of things, getting these packages, getting tours of the ship early, getting to talk with cast members and characters is essentially how they make their money. So if they lose that, if their lifeblood is cut off because they're critical of Disney in any sort of way, they are essentially destitute and broke and have to find like an entirely new job. So yeah. Disney is getting all of this free advertising, and they love it. They're leaning into it more than I think they've ever done before, because they understand that a Disney adult is who is what's going to keep Disney popular and growing. It's it's the Wall Street connections with NVIDIA and all of the AI animatronic stuff that they're pushing, and the Disney adults that have all of the money that can spend on things like this. Disney, like, it used to be for kids. Yeah. But, like, the average family can't afford to do it anymore. But you know who can? Influencers and sad millennials.
Yep.
And it's Disney these days.
During that, the vlog from the mom who has like this smaller Instagram following, she really emphasized the adult spaces that are on these cruise ships. And I think that was totally intentional. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these vloggers are just sort of repeating the things that Disney, the company, emphasized to them, with the intention that they would then repeat it in their own vlogs. And I'm sure that Disney is hammering home the fact that they want young people to be coming on these cruise ships for their honeymoons, which they are. They want young childless adults to be coming on a Disney cruise ship for a vacation instead of going to an all-inclusive resort. They want young adults to be on these ships drinking as much as possible. And like, recent earnings reports for Disney as of this year show how much this plan of like resource extraction from wealthy childless young people is working. Because Disney and its parks and its cruise ships are making more money than ever. What does that mean? That means that the average family has already been priced out, and it no longer matters, because the entire revenue model is built around targeting like relatively high income young people who have some sort of emotional attachment. They want to see Minnie in her chic outfit. They want to go to the Star Wars bar. They want to go to the Haunted Mansion bar. And I assume that based on like the projections and the earnings that they currently have, it must make sense for them to be like, we're going to quadruple our efforts in this area.
It's the only thing that makes any sense for why they just keep pushing these more and more and more. You know, I don't know how Walt would have felt that Disney is basically just an escape for young people to be thrown into debt.
Yeah.
But considering he loved capitalism more than he loved his family, it might not be too far off course for old Walt.
I think he would definitely ultimately be okay with it. So for the next thing that I wanted to talk about is I wanted to highlight kind of the opposite of what these influencers have been experiencing, which are some of the negative reviews that I found for these ships on Cruise Critic, which Cruise Critic is a really popular like cruise ship forum. And these reviews that I focused on in particular are not coming from first-time cruisers. These are reviews coming from people who are experienced cruisers, because I thought those were more interesting. And overall, the Disney Wish is slightly better reviewed than the Disney Treasure. And like I said earlier, Disney Destiny doesn't have any reviews yet because it literally just set sail.
Yeah.
But Steven, I want you to read this top review in the top right corner for the Disney Wish.
I have to move my camera for a second. Please forgive me, almighty internet. The layout. The ship layout defies logic and is by far the lowest point of the overall experience. The multiple, very small family pools did not make sense and was not well enjoyed by many. The adult-only pool area was spread out over an area with no shade, a tiny pool, and a dead end at one end, and the hot tub was shoved by the Aquamouse as almost an afterthought. It is my suspicion Disney is looking for the additional profit from passengers by getting them to pay to use the vastly superior spa sun deck at the front of the ship. Speaking of profit, the Disney Wish has the highest number of concierge rooms of all the ships. This to me explains the number of design decisions that only distract from the design. The vastly smaller movie theaters, the lack of a full walking track, a layout with dead ends everywhere. The lack of midship elevator does not unnoticed by most guests. Most guests commented about this in the hallways waiting for an elevator.
And you know what? I can't blame them because they probably paid a lot of money for this experience. And when
Right?
you're paying so much money to occupy what is a relatively small space, like people shell out this much to go to Paris or Tokyo, and you can't run out of things to do there. You are in the biggest cities in the world. But when you shell out thousands of dollars for a luxury cruise ship, suddenly every detail is a lot more expensive and therefore a lot more valuable to you. And so when the pools are small or the hot tub is right next to the loading dock for the Aquamouse, and you probably have to hear that obnoxious music playing when you're in there, this stuff starts to grate on people. And I think it's understandable. And also, so we're currently covering them up, but I showed some of the amenities for the Disney Wish specifically. And one of those is the Elsa dining room situation, which is like on previous Disney cruise ships, the themed dining rooms were still really special. They were still like not what you would get on other cruise ships, but they've upped the ante a little bit with these more recent cruises where now you're actually watching like a live quote unquote like Broadway-esque performance, but you're watching people perform songs from Frozen live one of the nights when you're dining on the Disney Wish. When you're on the Disney Treasure, I'm pretty sure it's Coco. And when you're on the Disney Destiny, it's The Lion King. So that's an interesting and I think cool element to bring in. But something that I noticed in some of these reviews was like, oh, we had a really bad seating arrangement for this. So this like wasn't worth it for our family. Or as you can see in this promo photo, Elsa is like interacting with a child. But in reality, like she doesn't do that with every child. So again, you're paying for these experiences that you're most likely not even going to get. And I also included this review, which I thought was really funny, which says, "The Wish is really not up to the standard of other Disney vessels. The rumors you've heard about the design are all true.
Damn.
Wish is very user unfriendly. The ship is the largest in the fleet, but feels claustrophobic. It has none of the delightful Disney design. It's very generic, and every now and then there's a picture to remind you where you are, like a Holiday Inn. Neutral paint on the stairs,
Damn.
and if the picture is a cowboy, you're in Dallas. If it's Golden Gate Bridge, then it's San Francisco. There's lots of long hallways with rooms off them. The spa is right above the engine room with noises interrupting you. Wish has the smallest gym of any cruise ship I've been on, 16 ships at last count. There's one shop and no duty free, but a lot of retail space devoted to expensive watches and jewelry."
That's what it is. They want you to buy.
That's exactly right. So then moving on to some of the reviews. Oh, actually, before we get to the reviews of the treasure, I had to point out some of the things on the Disney Wish that will cost you the most money to show you like the ultra luxury tier that these cruise ships offer that obviously almost nobody is going to get. But again, this gives influencers a great opportunity to highlight these experiences that people are then going to associate with the ship and be more likely to want to like even come near to experiencing these things. So all of the cruise ships, and this is not just a Disney cruise ship thing, but like Disney in particular really hones in on marketing these like exorbitant suites. So on the Disney Wish, the most expensive room is the Aurora Suite, and it is a 2-story cruise ship room that includes its own private deck with its own private jacuzzi, and that will run you $30,000.
Damn.
So that's a lot. And then the background picture that I have here on this slide is from the restaurant Enchanté, which is like the French, I think, vaguely Beauty and the Beast inspired restaurant.
I love how it's always like vaguely inspired by a movie where it's French, it's either Ratatouille or it's Beauty and the Beast. If it's Mexican, it's Coco.
Yes, exactly. It's almost like Disney made sure they had one IP from every ethnicity and cultural group that they wanted to be able to monetize. But yeah, so Enchanté is like a super fancy, not included, obviously, dining experience. And that can run you hundreds of dollars for like a multi-course meal with like a bottle of champagne. And then the last thing I have to point out that they have on board this cruise ship is the Kyber Crystal drink in the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge. So this is a $5,000 cocktail. And what that cocktail gets you, I'm pretty sure you do not get to keep like the container that it comes in, which is such a
You are
ripoff.
correct.
Yeah. Don't get to keep the container. There's like 3 little beverages in there, and they each are obviously made with like really fancy, rare, expensive liquor. But I think the real selling point and what stuck with me is that you also get an exclusive invitation to the Skywalker Ranch and like wine vineyard. Yes. So you don't get, it's not like an all expenses paid trip. It's like you just have to travel there yourself, but they'll bring you inside and give you a tour. And that wouldn't be worth it for me personally because I could never consider.
Well, you're not a Star Wars dork. The Kyber Crystal, I think the first time they did it was in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
And I remember being obsessed with it. Like $5,000 for a drink, it makes no sense. You don't even get to keep the cool thing it comes in. It's not thematic. I don't understand it. And I have friends who have been to the Skywalker Ranch, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's so cool, it's so amazing." But they also went for free, for like a car VR thing. So it was fun for them. But like, do you really want to like spending all of that money? It's all about, like, how much money can you spend on an experience? Like, Disney's high tier, basically, since, for many years, there's always been, like, a high tier of Disney because of Club 33.
Right.
There's always been, like, a higher level of Disney content. But I think they have even realized that is ultimately unattainable to 99.9% of people. And they would like it to be accessible to 99.8% of people. So they're going to do things for the Kyber crystals.
Mm-hmm.
And these like fancy suites and these fancy dinners. I think Disney, their new model seems to be they want to promise wealth for a day. They want you to feel like a princess for a day. They want you to forget about how much debt you're accruing and how much this is going to fuck your life up so that you could feel like a rich, fancy princess like when you were watching those movies when you were a kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Disney Renaissance came out at the exact time when the millennials were babies. So Disney DNA is tied directly into all of us. And we all want to feel special and we all want to feel rich. So them offering these experiences is a way for them to kind of get those same people while kind of ignoring the problems that will come from having to invest all of this crazy shit. Like,
yes.
I saw on the Disney, whatever the new one is, I can never remember their names.
Destiny.
On the Disney Destiny, they had the Hercules suite. I saw at least 4 different influencers do the same tour of the Hercules suite. Because they want to make people promise it. And also the thumbnail of $30,000 room. You know, isn't that amazing? Because they want to create this promise. They want to create this illusion. And ultimately, I don't think it's sustainable.
No.
You know, it's kind of the same thing that the Saudis are doing, where they're like trying to create this version of wealth that, you know, existed in like the Gilded Age of the 1920s. You know, I think, you know, F. Scott Fitzgerald would have loved the Kyber crystal. That would have been a whole part of Catcher in the Rye. And now we're just kind of getting the modern version of it. And Disney, because their IP has basically lost a lot of that luster because the quality of their content has just gone down over the years, they got to find other get-rich-quick schemes.
That's such a good point. It's like you're microdosing being ultra wealthy, and Disney's promise of like a day of magic and fantasy for a lot of people is that's like what the fantasy is for one day I'm like the Saudi prince.
Yes.
Complete with like the probable labor violations on many cruise lines.
Right? How many of the people who are like serving you the Kyber crystal, that's like what they make not only on the cruise ship, but who knows how much longer. You know, it's
100%.
all again, it's all just like that wealth disparity you kind of ignore being in a Disney echo chamber.
Yes. It's interesting how so far the thesis of our channel is like today's travel. You peel back the curtain and it's just labor. It's just like unethical labor violations. It's just modern day slavery every single time.
Hey, I mean, even back in the old days, if you were going to do a cruise of the Nile and you wanted to make sure those crocodiles weren't going to eat your boat and you weren't going to get lost, you're going to bring along some very, very underpaid laborers to help make sure your beautiful experience drinking caviar on the, as the Egyptian pyramids go by, doesn't get deterred.
No, 100%, 100%. And I also think the last thing that I'll say about this is like looking at Enchante, it is a facade. It is not true wealth and luxury. Like so much of what they're doing here is they're playing fancy tricks. You can't actually pay even $30,000 and access like true ultra wealthy elite luxury for a day. You can't actually do it. They're just fooling you. Like the seats are vinyl. It's like it's gold colored vinyl. It's like it's champagne glasses that they bought in bulk. It's a magnet in the drink coaster. Like there is just cheap tricks at like an ever more expensive price tag.
I would love to take my fiance, who is a chef who now works at the Plaza, to one of these places and kind of see if it is actually fancy or just a facade. And as you mentioned, she'd probably think it was just a facade.
Yeah, 100%. That would be so interesting. I need Hope's take. I need her take on Enchante. Okay, so these are some of the reviews from the Disney Treasure. And the Disney Treasure, I've got the pictures of, yet again, the Haunted Mansion bar, and I've got the picture of the Coco live music experience. And one of the titles of one of these reviews, had to pull it out. Shareholders will be happy, but you may not.
Damn.
So, Stephen, will
Absolutely.
you do us the honor of
What a
reading
break.
the review in the top left?
Gotta move the camera again. All right. Ship was designed by committee during pandemic via Zoom with cameras off. Spaces are very cramped. Staterooms poorly laid out with little to no drawer space. Poor quality and dim lighting. Disney is aware that electricity does not work in staterooms to operate curling irons, but does not give out that information in advance. Nothing on ship runs on time and all service is slow. Appetizer and drink for dinner arrived after 9 p.m., which is entirely too late to be eating. Public spaces, such as guest services line, has poor layout. Marceline Market Buffet has same entrance line as exit line. No walking track. More of a pacing track, back and forth, and you must walk through middle of shuffleboard courts. Gym is overcrowded. I am platinum on Disney, and this trip has me rethinking how I will cruise in the future. Do not assume this will be like Dream or Fantasy. Damn.
Oh God, that's the best one. Walking through the middle of the shuffleboard courts really got me.
There's no way. You gotta do it.
Okay, so this is an excerpt from another one where, in fairness to the reviewer and the review and Disney, there was a precursor to this part of the review that was like things I loved about the ship, but this is the part of the review where it was things that I don't love about the ship. So they said, this boat, while beautiful and detailed, seemed smaller when you first come aboard compared to the Wish. It is very dim. There is no midnight kiss like on the Wish. Sorry, I meant to look that up earlier.
Yeah, what's a midnight kiss?
I don't know what she's talking about. Hang on. Midnight kiss on the Disney Wish cruise ship. I've heard that before. The Midnight Kiss refers to the Kiss Goodnight, a special light and music show in the Grand Hall that happens every night at midnight. This event is a unique Disney Wish experience inspired by the Cinderella fairy tale. Love. Okay, so there will be no midnight
kissing.
kiss.
No kissing on the Disney Wish.
No midnight kiss. No, not on the Disney Treasure.
Treasure, sorry. God damn it,
Yeah,
it's so hard to remember.
There was not enough to do. You can only do so much trivia. Dinners were slow. The servers don't do fun table games anymore because people complained that dinner took too long. Dinner was still long and no games. Bummer on both ends. Marvel needs to be reimagined. It just does not hit the mark.
Damn.
Marceline's Market. It's too crowded and hard to find seating. Coffee/creamer were constantly out. It's too bad because it is a very pretty space. Staff, maybe a lot of them, are new to cruising or came from other cruise lines, but the Disney magic interactions that we were accustomed to having were just not the same.
Damn.
Woof, woof. I will say I have an extremely vivid memory as a child going on a Disney cruise ship, and our server was named Boniface, spelled like bonefish, but is pronounced Boniface. And one of the gags on the Disney cruises is that the server follows you night to night from table to table. So like he shows up at different restaurants and it's the same server. And when I went on the cruise ship, they did still do these table games. So like I was a kid, my brothers were even younger than me, and they would do like magic tricks and like brain teasers with crayons and things like that. And that was very fun. So I haven't ridden a Disney cruise in probably a decade now, but I'm sad to hear that they no longer do that. It's another example of like, what is the point of paying so much more than you would pay for like a Royal Caribbean cruise or a Norwegian cruise when you're not getting like the things that used to make Disney different. And so I think this is the second to last thing. This is a plan for the Disney adventure and what to expect from the Disney adventure. So this is the cruise ship that we're supposed to be getting in about 4 months. And this is the one that they bought from that company in Singapore when it went bankrupt. And what we're seeing on display here is like an actual roller coaster and actual rides. Now it is an artistic rendering, so I don't know what we're actually going to get.
Yeah, it's like the Beastland render, you know?
Yeah.
Don't take it for what it is.
Yeah. And I think like my big takeaway from looking at this based on everything that we've seen so far is like the roller coaster looks super, super, super cool. If it comes to fruition, it looks way better than the Aquamouse. Yes. If it works, which is a big if. The other thing is that I can already tell from what I'm seeing here that the lines for these rides are going to be just like excruciating.
Oh, yeah.
And some of the lines have covers for shade, but I guarantee you that a lot of it is going to be like excruciating sun beating down on you to get in line for what's ultimately like none of these rides would hit
On
the
land.
mark. No. The only reason that these rides are allowed to even be shown to the public like this is because it's on a cruise ship, so that makes it okay.
100%. It's just that this is what is available so that you guys can enjoy it. Is the novelty of a roller coaster on a cruise ship. Ignore all that incredible water that's hitting you in the face as you try and ride this roller coaster, or what looks to be like a ripoff of the Dumbo ride.
Yes.
But with, I don't even know what those are supposed to be. Oh, those are maybe the Guardians of the Galaxy ship?
It might be that. It might be Spider-Man because you've got all those Spider-Man decals behind him. It could be Guardians because that might be Rocket Raccoon and Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I'm a big Marvel guy, and like this just looks so mediocre to me.
Yeah.
Like the mural in general looks like something you'd find on the side of a children's daycare, not on a giant what will be $1 billion cruise ship.
Yeah.
It looks schlocky. It looks like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but on a cruise ship.
It does. And the roller coaster to me and the other rides are super reminiscent of the Santa Monica Pier. And I've ridden the rides at Santa Monica Pier in LA, and it's like you're waiting in way shorter lines than I think you would get on this cruise ship, and the rides are not good.
Yeah.
Like it's just because of where you are. But like a roller coaster like this is not going to be very fun. You're not getting any airtime. You're not getting a huge hill. It's like a kid's ride, essentially, like a slightly spruced up kid's ride.
And there's only 2 people that could be put on a coaster at the same time.
Oh, it's going to be
in
an
their
excruciating wait.
So it's going to take so long to get anywhere. It doesn't if this is supposed to be the render that gets like this is appealing, it does the exact opposite. Is the middle supposed to be like a pool?
So I was trying to zoom in on that, but it wouldn't let me. But I think what's happening here in the middle is I actually think, and I could be wrong, but I think those are staterooms. And so I've seen this on Royal Caribbean ships. Royal Caribbean has done these ships that are like the biggest cruise ships in existence. And because the cruise ships are so big, and this is also a massive cruise ship, I think those are guest rooms with balconies that actually face the interior of the ship versus the exterior of the ship, which the Royal Caribbean ship has these staterooms, and I just don't know who would want to pay to have a balcony.
You're looking in at someone else's room instead of the ocean, which is the reason you're paying the money to be there.
Exactly.
It seems so weird, but...
And in this case, it's even worse because you would be facing the rides.
You can watch people screaming as they go by or be bored as they wait in line.
Yeah. And I could be wrong about what they are, but you can almost see little dividers between them and like groups of people on these like balcony things. So I think that's what it is.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so that's the Disney Adventure. So we'll be back in 4 months to watch YouTubers talk about how great this is.
We'll still be doing this in 4 months, you betcha, and we're gonna watch them do this.
Exactly.
The roller coaster.
So the last thing that I did was I wanted to see how much it would cost for me to go on the Disney Destiny. So I went on the Disney website and I found it was actually really hard to find a cruise on the Disney Destiny, like the earliest that I could find was this January 7th, 2027 cruise ship. And it's a 4-night Bahamian cruise from Fort Lauderdale, which is a pretty classic cruise ship itinerary. You go to Nassau, you go to Disney's private island, and then you come home. And this is like about as classic as it gets. And you can find a lot of 4-night cruises with this exact itinerary for like a quarter of the price point here. So these start at $2,555 for 2 people. And the way that I went through and actually totaled this price was I picked a stateroom with a veranda. It's a deluxe, so this is like slightly more expensive than if you did a cruise ship with no window, like an interior cruise ship. But I did one with a balcony, and I picked it on like one of the cheaper decks because it's more or less expensive depending on where you are in the ship. So I went for like a less expensive version, and so my total price is actually $3,186.52. So that's kind of absurd to me for a 4-night vacation. Especially knowing that you're going to be paying
no
more.
alcohol.
Yeah.
I guess, is food included?
Food is included, but if you want to go to any of the like specialty restaurants, or if you want to get like a latte or if a smoothie, or of course alcohol, then you're paying extra.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so gnarly to me. It's you're basically spending, like, again, multiple months rent for most of the people who could have who want to do this.
Yeah.
And what are you getting? I still don't really understand, like, what exactly is Disney guaranteeing you that's different than even like the parks or, you know, other than just saying like you did it. And you can, like, I remember I've been watching a bunch of the videos from these people, and one lady was so excited that she got to buy the stuff that was in the room, but she couldn't afford anything but the hand towels.
Oh.
So she just bought like half a dozen hand towels, and she was like over the moon.
Wow.
And I guess those are the sort of people, they put themselves in debt just to get on the thing so that they can have the opportunity to sleep in the thing and have fun in the thing. Like, it's just it's so silly to me. And like, financial literacy is already very low these days, and I support anybody doing whatever they can to have the most fun before our world explodes. But with this cruise ship, it just doesn't seem to make any sense to me why people keep going and doing this over and over, to the point that we're getting 8 cruise ships out of this thing and killing who knows how much sea life in the world itself. So that you can hang out with Cruella de Vil and pay $30 for a cocktail.
Totally. And the thing is, with a budget of over $3,000 for 4 nights, you could get like a really nice hotel room in like a major city and have like money left over to spend on food and entertainment. So I think like what you're getting here, like the bargain that you're making, is if you have somewhere in the ballpark of thousands of dollars to spend on a vacation of this length, it's like, in theory, you don't have to do anything once you're on board. On theory, it's like you're shuttled from activity to activity. You go to the dinner at the time that you're supposed to go, then you go see a show in the theater, and then the next morning you wake up, you go to the pool, you go to trivia, and you know, walk along Nassau. And like, that's the appeal of a cruise. And I think that, like, in theory, the target audience for a lot of cruises are like the booze cruise crowd, the bachelor party crowd. Like, that's a good target demographic for cruising because it's just easier to plan a vacation with a bunch of people that way. Also, like, elderly people tend to be a huge cruising demographic. But that's not the demographic that Disney is coming after with these cruises. Like, the demographic that Disney is trying to reach here are still families with children and also the young childless adults. So at that point, I think like, okay, you're better off spending your money elsewhere. It's just like, are you the type of person? And some days I am this type of person, although I'm certainly not booking any of these cruises anytime soon. But it's really like, do you want to go to the Haunted Mansion bar that badly?
Yes. It's like for the person who doesn't want to gamble but wants to go on a cruise ship and has a fascination for Disney. Those are, the people that are going on these. And clearly there is a big audience.
Yeah.
It just ain't me.
Yeah. No, 100% agree. So that wraps up our cruising portion of today's show.
Sorry, we gotta do the horn.
Oh yeah, the horn.
We have set off, and now we are in the animatronics. So, Defunctland yesterday released a 4-hour video talking about animatronics, basically the living characters that are inside Disney. And that got me thinking. I've been to the theme parks about 3 times over the course of my life, and I've developed a fondness for the weird animatronics that Disney has made. Let's describe them as the less successful. Mainly it's because most of these are not here anymore. In the bottom right, you would not guess it, but that's supposed to be Ellen DeGeneres.
I knew that one. I love that one.
This is Ellen's energy adventure. Where she is no longer a part of anything. I don't even know if that turned into anything. It's just gone.
Did you know that was my favorite ride as a kid?
That was your favorite ride? This horrible thing was your favorite ride?
Yeah, I loved it.
Why?
I loved it. It had a lot of charm.
Sure. I love Jeopardy references. I love Bill Nye the Science Guy. It's all my favorite stuff in the whole world. But my favorite one growing up is actually this the Trolls in the bottom left.
Yes.
This was Maelstrom.
Yes.
And I can't remember Iceland?
Norway.
Norway. Oh, God. I'm going to lose my cards. Norway it was an adventure where you started out it was basically like an oil tanker. That had a bunch of like puffins around, and then you go through time and you beat all these trolls, and it's like terrifying, and you go backwards. And I remember it was always my dad's favorite ride. I never really understood why until like years later. I'm like, it is so unique. It's not like anything Disney has now, especially because now it is a Frozen ride.
Yep.
They got rid of all the cool little trolls and all the fun experiences and kind of the scary stuff.
Yep.
And now we have Let It Go and those terrible face-mapped characters where Elsa just kind of looks like a mannequin given form. It's horrifying. And then my second favorite ride is Journey into Imagination with Figment. His animatronics aren't really too special. But what I wanted to talk about for animatronics in general is the very short-lived Michael Eisner-inspired Zazu and Iago takeover of the Enchanted Tiki Room. I believe it's called Enchanted Tiki Room Under New Management. The basic premise is the Enchanted Tiki Room, which is one of Walt's creations and has been there since almost the beginning. And everybody, it's got its times. It was a bit racist. Still kind of is. But, they took out some of the Polynesian gods and the Nazi bird.
Yeah.
But Michael Eisner, being the eccentric genius that he was, I will die on this hill that I think Michael Eisner was Disney's best CEO. I don't care what Bob Iger apologists have to say. But under his tenure, we got Iago and Zazu taking over the Enchanted Tiki Room. I have queued up one part of the thing we can watch if possible. I think you got to click it.
Yes. Wait, I can do this.
I will go back to the port.
Is it showing?
Not yet.
Okay, wait. I have to switch it. Yeah. Okay, I can do this.
You can do it. I believe in you. One more horn.
I love this. Was also the first version of the Enchanted Tiki Room that I ever saw. So this has like a special place in the hearts of children our age.
Yes.
Who saw this in a very specific 5-year period.
This is what we thought of. I think you full screen it.
Okay, let me full screen it. And then here we go.
Iago, please. The tiki gods can hear you.
If I hear one more word about those tiki-tacky Polynesian pineapple picking wood for brains morons,
See, a little racist.
Oh my god.
Hey, who turned out the lights?
That would be the moron tiki gods.
We are doomed. Doom is in the air.
It's goodbye, my friend. The air is so hot.
Okay, I don't want to play more of it because we're going to get copyright claim.
It's so good.
That was just the
But
one
a little
part.
insensitive.
It's so a little insensitive again, but that's like Disney parks in the 90s.
Yeah.
Where it was all just kind of a little unnecessarily offensive and over the top. But like it's so much more charming than like if you look at like the sterile monstrosity that we just sat through looking at all of those like fancy rooms and $5,000 kyber crystals. Just that little bit of snippet had so much more like passion, and I hate saying magic, but like it did have that. Like this came out in I think like 2000, I want to say, like 99. I was 8 when I went to this for the first time, and it is just like so permanently ingrained in my head. I remember my parents, who were big. My dad was like a huge Disney adult. We had every VHS you could possibly think of, and they're all in a landfill right now. But when it came to this, they were like, "Oh, I remember the Enchanted Tiki Room, and it looks slightly different." And I remember absolutely loving it and being like obsessed. And my dad and my mom being like, "What the hell did we just watch? I don't remember any of this. It's all so confusing." But like, even though it didn't last very long. They sang Friend Like Me, I believe, and I don't remember what Zazu's song is, but I assume it's the one about Lion King, you know. Yeah. But there's so much. Again, it was fun. I loved those things. I loved those movies as a kid. And Disney in general failed to kind of integrate both of those properties into the park in a timely manner. So that's why we kind of got this. But these are the animatronics that I love. Like, it's so silly that it's basically just a series of, like, pneumatic tubes and air pressure. But, like, they have so much life. They're so much more full of life than the shit we see nowadays, which I have at the end. But we could do yours.
Yes, and I totally agree. And at some point, we will do an entire Enchanted Tiki Room episode because there's just so much crazy lore, so much offensive lore. But yeah, it is a real blast from the past. So the animatronics that I wanted to highlight here are something old, something new, and then my honorable mention. So my favorite animatronic, and I would say overall my favorite ride, even though most people think it is quite boring, is Carousel of Progress.
You're the only one who's ever said those words.
The Carousel of Progress is tied with Ellen's Energy Adventure for my favorite ride as a kid. And Carousel of Progress, for those who don't know, it is a ride that Walt Disney originally built for the World's Fair. And it was moved to Orlando, Florida, where it exists today. That is the only location where it exists. And it's in Tomorrowland. Nobody goes there. There's never any line. People have died gruesome deaths at the Carousel of Progress. And I'm not even kidding.
Another episode, we'll do all the horrible deaths that have happened to Disney.
the terrible Disney deaths. Maybe that'll be our Halloween episode. But so apart from its gruesome past, the Carousel of Progress is a very simple animatronic spectacle. You sit in a theater, and at the center of all of these different theater chambers is a circular stage. And the theater moves around the stage. It rotates around the stage, and you see these 4 scenes. And each scene shows this average American family living in different time periods. So the animatronic that I have selected is the star of Carousel of Progress. His character's name is John, but that doesn't really matter.
I thought you were talking about the dog.
Well, listen, I included the dog because I love the dog too. But John, the animatronic, he is our narrator. He is the family patriarch, and he illustrates each period of American history, starting from the dawn of electricity, leading all the way into a distant future where I'm pretty sure it's like Twitch streaming exists. Basically, this is the fatal flaw of Tomorrowland as it currently exists in like Orlando and in Anaheim, which is like and Epcot too. We've already surpassed the future that they predicted in like the 50s and then in the 70s. So none of the inventions on display are any longer futuristic. It's not Tomorrowland. It's like
yesterday
in
land,
the 1950s land. But it still has a lot of nostalgia and a lot of charm. And I think Carousel of Progress really exemplifies that. And I also am a sucker for an original song. And Carousel of Progress has an amazing song.
Of course.
It's a beautiful tomorrow. And I love
at the end of every day.
There's a Carousel of Progress movie I'm pretty sure that I have not seen. Actually, no, there isn't. No, there isn't. That I'm thinking of, and I have not seen that movie. But anyways, the animatronic of John, my final words on the matter, it's a very simple animatronic. Like, it is very rudimentary compared to the
he does like this.
Yeah, he has all these like very stilted motions, and he's not capable of very many motions, and his movements are very simplistic as a result of that. But I love this era of animatronics. This early era of animatronics has got to be my favorite era because the Imagineers were working with so little and they created so much. And I actually think that those technological constraints like broadened their storytelling and forced them to be more creative, and the payoff is still powerful even today. So that's why I love that animatronic. But for good measure, I also included a modern animatronic that I am a fan of, which is this animatronic scene in Tokyo Disneyland's Beauty and the Beast ride, which is an incredible ride. Like, the rumors are true. I was lucky enough to get to go on it earlier this year. And the ride was really honestly overwhelming. And there were parts of it that I would like to go through again because I didn't have like the best vantage point from where we were in our car. But this scene, everyone gets a good view of because it's this Belle animatronic. It's the Be Our Guest scene, and it's at the center of this big room, and all of the cars, which are teacups, twirl around this scene. So everyone gets a good view of it. And this is probably one of the examples I like better of this style of animatronic, because the style of animatronic that they're doing today, which I know we're going to get into a little bit more, but they're doing these like cartoon, hyper realistic animatronics that are supposed to feel like you're in like a 2D or 3D animatronic or animation landscape. And it doesn't, to me, work as well as the classic style of animatronics where they're like trying to look like real people. For whatever reason, I prefer those animatronics, but I did like the effect of this one in this ride. And then my final honorable mention is the Abe Lincoln animatronic.
Good old Abe.
Another Walt Disney original creation, recently retired because he needed some I don't even know. He needed rest and relaxation.
Well, I think they put him and Walt, the new Walt animatronic, which I will not show you guys because no one should be subject to have to see that bloated monstrosity.
Maybe we'll do that in a later Walt Disney episode. But
I need to do a whole one about Walt Disney didn't hate Jews, he hated unions.
Yes, we will definitely be doing that. Maybe that'll be our Labor Day episode. But so yeah, the Abraham Lincoln animatronic, it's not good by any modern stretch of the imagination. Yeah. And I have a really fond memory of going to see this with Adam at Disneyland, and he was like cracking up and could not stop hysterically laughing as the animatronic was going. And his mom was like, "Adam, you're being so disrespectful." So that's my memory of Honest Abe.
Of good old Honest Abe. Yeah. And now we have what Disney has become today. You can play the first link.
Wait, I can. Okay, yeah. Let me pull this up.
Here, I'll go to the other. I'll go to our cruise ship.
I'm
a fan of having the cruise ship just swap between. because then we can see your beautiful focus
Oh.
in much higher HD.
Is this my? I'm trying to get to it. Okay, hang on. Yeah, this is it. Okay.
That's it.
Share.
Here we go.
Very rich micro expression through that front projection.
The texturing that we can get by using front projection is really incredible. The detailing on the skin. We can play around with shaders. We can change the material properties. We can do transformations that we've never been able to do before.
Now, what if it was basically a little more battle scarred, a little more hardened, and he gets cut right across the face?
So much of this innovation is how we make these characters as realistic as they can so that they convey the emotion that they're feeling to the guests so that we can all be in that story together.
Very
Okay.
rich.
A few
dear
points.
God.
A few points. First of all, projection mapping sucks. Animatronics at Disney have become overwhelmingly projection mapped.
Yeah.
If you go to Frozen or you go to any of the new places, Buzz Lightyear I think has it as well. They're all just like blank faces with a projector shown on them. And it looks dog shit. It doesn't look convincing. It doesn't look good. It just looks like a flat face with a face stuck on it. And this like new version of what I assume is Bruce Willis.
I was gonna ask. Who
Yeah,
is
I
this?
don't know who it is, but it looks oddly like Bruce Willis, and giving him battle damage makes it even more look like Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
It's just like that's not the answer. The answer is like as you mentioned before, like animatronics back in the day worked so much better because they had to work within their constraints and they weren't focused on realism. Realism should not be the goal when creating a robotic thing brought to life.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the Pirates of the Caribbean characters, none of them look like real people because they're not supposed to be real people. Like, there was a quote in the Defunctland video about one of the original sculptors, basically why they never made a Walt Disney animatronic, is that realism doesn't work that well when you're trying to create a, facsimile. Like, if you go to a wax museum, does it ever really look like the person? Maybe a bit. Like, yeah, The Rock kind of looks like The Rock is a wax figurine, but it's not nearly like the same level of skill or talent when you look at, like, again, a Pirates of the Caribbean character that looks so emotive and scared or terrifying. Like, it wants the dog to give it the keys so that it can escape the cell, and you understand that from the face that was created by a skilled animator. By just, like, creating a white sheet or a white sculpture that they can, like, projection map beautifully, it just, like, takes away all of the fun and the magic. It's like everything today is just covered in screens. All we do every day in our lives is just screens, 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 screens. So when we go to a park, the last thing I want to see is screens, which is why the Peter Pan ride and the Chinese Pirates of the Caribbean that are all just, like, all screens are just so incredibly cringe to me. And,
agreed.
We're basically getting more realistic. Like yesterday, Disney announced their newest animatronic that is coming to a Frozen land in Disneyland Paris. If you want to play the Olaf video.
I do.
Yes. I found the English one.
I think this might be our next week topic.
I think we should do. Oh, absolutely.
Is the Disneyland Paris.
We should do Disneyland
Paris.
Olaf!
Oh my gosh, you're here!
We were just talking about you.
So excited to see you. I can't believe you're here in the world of Frozen.
There are so many people that are super excited
There's
to
so
see
many
you here.
people.
Walt Disney Imagineering Research and Development did such a beautiful job on creating this Olaf
I can
self-working
just see that thing get
character.
tipped
It's
over.
really a symbiosis between the latest in technology and storytelling. And I can't wait for our guests to see Olaf in real life.
I know our guests and our fans are just gonna absolutely love this.
Oh, that was scary.
Yeah, that's one of its gimmicks, is that it has a magnetic nose.
Damn.
You can kind of bring it in. But like Disney is investing in things that they can make money back. A real life Olaf will get people into the park. They've noticed when they did the Frozen Land in I can't remember which park. Was it Tokyo or?
They've got it in Tokyo and they've got it in Hong Kong.
Okay. Well, in one of them, they have like little walk around people that are holding the trolls.
Yes.
Like holding a little baby troll. And I think they're just kind of ripping off Universal.
Yeah.
who's been kind of doing that with their Fantastic Creatures and Dragons, because imagination is dead. But with Olaf, I think the creation, also that is the thumbnail that Disney did. Is that not like just them trying to learn from Disney Imagineering?
Yes, 100%.
This is just the modern version of like what we get for YouTube. You know, Disney is now just YouTubeified it all.
Yeah. I mean, they understand what gets people into the parks. And also, for the record, I don't know if it's just supposed to be a Hong Kong thing, but when I went to the World of Frozen in Tokyo, it was so packed. There wasn't even any room for any like roaming characters. And I don't think I saw any employees who had the trolls.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine that like, and I think Jenny Nicholson again has talked about this, like they tease these roaming characters and they tease like more in-depth interactions with characters to get you into the park. And then once you are there, you realize that it is not even possible. And I think not even possible in Tokyo, where like guests are better behaved. Also, our chat is blowing up.
Yes,
which
they finally found us. Hi, guys.
I think Adam must have dropped this somewhere. Oh my god, hello. Oh, thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Just as we're on the tail end of wrapping
right, just as we're on the last slide.
Yeah, just as we're on the last slide. But for next week, we're hopefully, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to announce it because I don't know if he's going to do it yet or not. But for next week, we are for sure going to be talking about Disneyland Paris.
Yes, because there's just so much stuff, and I've never been, and Kat needs to teach me all about it.
I'm so excited to show you. I'm going to be putting so many of my pictures that I took on my phone into the slideshow. But I think Disneyland Paris is probably like Disney's craziest park. So I'm very excited to talk about it for that reason. Let me see what else we got on here. Oh my gosh. Thank you all for coming. We will see you next time. And this video will be available after we're done streaming. Yay!
Yes, watch it all, share it all. Make sure we can do this.
Okay, amazing. Then we will see you all next time.
All right, guys. Bye.